Welcome to the Rogue Treatment Podcast.
What's happening, H?
Mate, it's been a while.
Has it?
Yeah. I speak to you every day. It's annoying.
Thanks.
Great podcast last one. Did you enjoy it with Cam?
I did enjoy the last one with Cam.
Speaking about sales.
Yeah, it's a big voodoo topic in business. So I think that there was some real nuggets on gold on how to tackle, the fear of sales. Like, let's be honest, it starts with fear. Yeah. And, he talked about obviously the competitive nature of it and all the different things. But, if you're too scared to sell, then, that's not where you should start from. Yeah. So I think that was cool.
I wrote a few things down. I was starting to action them after the podcast, but
that was quick.
Yeah. Oh, mate, I'm onto it. But yeah, he also read out the challenge for today's podcast.
He did.
And so that challenge came from a listener, Bill from Bondi.
Yep.
And Bill says, or has asked us, is calorie counting a big fat fad?
A big fat fad.
That's how it was written.
Okay, so we brought someone on that's probably going to punch us in the head to talk about this. No, I'm joking. We've got a huge health and fitness influencer.
Nice.
All right, someone who can easily talk about this topic because she has a business around how to help people lose weight, how to help people keep fit and healthy.
Nice. Love that.
She has an engineering background. Believe it or not.
You told me.
Yeah, an engineering background, but has studied PT and nutrition and everything that can come around, a complete opposite to engineering, but, everything that goes around the health fitness aspect and how to, put into action the steps to get fit and healthy. And she's got thousands of followers, 25,000 followers. She's got hundreds of clients that have benefited from her methods. So I don't think there's anyone better to talk about this than Lou Kelly. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I'm so excited.
So Lou obviously said yes to doing this. She has multiple hats, multiple experiences and stories. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your experience in this space? And
take
it away.
I'm just starting with it's not a big fat fad at all. we can cover that in a little bit of detail in a minute, though, but absolutely not. But no, I got into engineering because I actually asked my dad where the money was, and he lied to me. So that was a good start to life. Did that for 4 years.
Was he an engineer? No, you said he was a policeman.
No, he's a police officer.
Yeah.
So I did that for 4 years at uni, and then went to London for 4 years as a civil engineer. And then COVID hit, where everyone started doing home workouts. So I started filming my own, and people asked me, like, why aren't you monetizing this? So I was like, oh, okay. So I started my online fitness business on the side of the engineering, and then I couldn't put any more time into the business, and I wanted it to expand until I went full-time. Hence why I flew out here to Australia, and how I'm here now.
Wow. So there's one end to the other.
Yeah, I think let's talk a little bit more about your experiences in the health and fitness space.
Mm-hmm.
Starting your online business, obviously when you came here as well, you mentioned earlier that you wanted it to be a global business as well. You wanted to be able to help multiple people across the world.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that and what you do to help people, get fit and healthy.
Yeah, so I guess the more people I can help, like, obviously the more impact we can have in the world. I want more people to be healthier, active. I thrive on the days that I exercise. Like, there's so many benefits to exercising. So I guess that's where I started with it, pushing the exercise. But then I also then realized I can't just provide people with the exercise, because you can't over-exercise. What am I trying to say? You can't
over-exercise?
Well, yes, you can, but you can't out-train a bad diet, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, you can eat various things that are going to be good for your diet. This isn't the way that I was going to say. Can you edit this bit out?
Yeah.
No.
Yes. No. So there's other elements to the health and fitness, and been able to help people, I wanted to be able to expand and help people with their nutrition as well as the exercise part of it, because both are super, super important if you're trying to be healthy, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to build muscle. So that's where I looked a bit deeper into the nutrition side of it.
Nice.
I've done nutrition to benefit diets, but then nutrition to also benefit sport and exercise as well. So it's not completely different, but there's different levels to the knowledge when you look at a marathon trainer, for example. Or if it's just Sally at home who just wants to lose a few pounds for her holiday. Like it's slightly different approach, but all the basics are the same. It's science at the end of the day.
You sound like the perfect person for this question. Oh my god!
I know. Sorry, go.
No, I was just before we dive in. Lou, that accent, Yorkshire, right? Is that correct?
East Yorkshire.
East Yorkshire.
Yes.
Okay.
What's the difference between north, south, east?
Oh
and
my
west
gosh,
Yorkshire?
there's so many differences. So many differences.
Really?
Yeah, there's so many different accents in the whole of Yorkshire. Yeah.
So when we say Yorkshire, that's like that's north.
The north of England, yes,
North of
but it's
England.
huge. Like you can drive. It still takes 2 or 3 hours to drive to the other side of Yorkshire.
Now.
Oh, okay. It took us 2 hours to drive here.
Well, yes, exactly.
No, I'm joking.
No wonder you're late.
No, I'm joking. But so hang on. So Yorkshire is the north of England, right? Because there's different.
It's not just the whole of there's other cities up there as well.
I've never called it. I've never known it was called Yorkshire though.
But the York is the
York is
city,
the centre of
right?
Yorkshire.
Yeah, and
okay,
Yorkshire is
Sorry,
the county.
Yes.
Yorkshire County.
Now I'm going to put him on the
Correct.
spot here, right?
Okay.
Actually, let's go. Let's go all three of us, and then I'll put you on the spot.
If it's a geography question.
No, absolutely not. It's we've got a bit. We love our world game, our football. Okay, and you're already looking at me, Lou, like Harry. Don't ask me anything about football. I don't talk about.
Cried when Spain lost. When Spain won, sorry, and England lost.
Did you?
No tears were shed.
Oh no. Okay.
Sorry,
I shed some for you. Don't worry.
No, I'm joking. She didn't punch the wall.
What current Premier League team is in Yorkshire? Current Premier League team located in Yorkshire.
I've got one guess.
Current Premier League team.
Well, you should know.
In Yorkshire.
Should I? Leeds.
There is only one. I was
Okay.
gonna say, but Leeds
Great
aren't
question.
in the Premier League.
No, a great answer. No. Leeds aren't in the Premier League. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Huddersfield.
No.
They're not in the Premier
York.
League either.
York City. Aren't they in like Division 6 or something?
I don't know.
They play against Bromley, I think.
There is a
Is this gonna
current,
be really
a
awkward?
current Premier League team.
He's got no idea. I knew this was going to stump him.
There's
Should
only
I
one
know
team.
this? Sheffield.
Bingo.
Sheffield.
Sheffield who?
United.
United. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Well
I
done.
should have known
Wait,
that.
but-
Yeah. What county is Manchester United in, or Manchester in?
There's a county. So I don't understand fucking English geography
Calls himself a fan.
because we're in Manchester.
Calls
Like,
himself a
Manchester's
fan.
the city, right?
That's the city, but it's in a county. Like states we have here. They have counties there.
Counties and
serious?
states are the same.
We don't have states. Yeah.
They have counties.
So the county is the equivalent of our state.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know that.
Good start.
So where's Manchester? No, you've got no idea.
It's in the
You've
north
been
of
there?
England. I've been there.
What county was it? It's like going to Sydney but not knowing it was in New South Wales.
Did you know we're in New South Wales?
Yeah.
She didn't.
Yes, I did.
Wait, when you
Do
were
you know-
coming to Sydney, did you know Sydney
Oh,
was in New South Wales?
no.
Say thank you.
I
What are you
didn't.
talking about?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but does now. Hold on a second. You've been supporting Manchester United for how long?
She's been wanting to come to Sydney for how long?
What?
6 months.
6 months. There you go. Lancashire. Is that correct?
Lancashire.
I don't know. I was hoping you weren't going to ask me that.
She's English and she doesn't know.
Yeah,
man.
I think it is.
I didn't know. Sorry, I didn't know that.
I
I thought it was
you would
like
have the
It
answer
is.
to that one.
oh, she's English.
Let's get back to the calorie.
Oh,
Anyway.
what county
Let's
is
not talk about
Liverpool
geography.
in?
Yeah, good question. So
You don't know?
No, on the Merseyside, right?
Yeah.
But historically, it's Lancashire. But it's on the north side of the Mersey River, so they call it Merseyside.
Is he even saying the truth?
I think
Look
so.
that. Lou,
It sounds
you're
right.
meant to have the answers
Yes.
here.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah.
confirm.
Cool. You happy now that you've got your English heritage out?
No, I'm just happy that you don't even know where Manchester is.
You didn't even know where Liverpool was. It's
No,
not
I do.
Merseyside.
I do. It
It's-
is.
You just said it was Lancashire.
So Manchester's the same northernness as Yorkshire, just
right.
over on the other
Just a
side of the
little bit
coast.
more
Yeah,
east.
just
Yeah, right.
to the east.
Yeah.
No, west.
No, southwest.
West,
Sorry,
west.
Yeah.
I went west, but said east.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't know where he's going, this bloke. Let's get into...
Oh, are you happy now?
The going rogue with calorie counting. So, first up, you just said straight up, no, it's not a fad.
Not a fad.
I don't think the word fad is correct at
Yeah.
all. It's quite scientifically based, proven,
Yeah.
actually. There's a lot of research that's gone into it, and all of my clients who have done it have benefited from it and lost weight or gained muscle, which is what they wanted to do.
Right, because it can be also like a calorie deficit or a surplus, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Or just maintenance. So, is it the calorie
right.
counting that you're classing as the fad? What is the...
Let's ask Bill
Well-
from Bondi.
Well, that's the thing. Like the question that got asked, I took it a different way, right? Because calorie counting isn't a fad, right? It's been around for a long time. There's plenty of research into it. Yes, it is scientific. So when I looked into it, I looked at it from the aspect of, okay, on social media right now, there is a lot of talk about the way in which you can do calorie deficits, right? And you know, like I've done calorie deficit before, and at no point in time, and it'd be interesting to see what you say about this, but at no point in time when I was doing calorie deficit, did they say just eat what you want, you know, go to Macca's if you want, you know, but just stay under your calorie deficit, right? Or stay
so you
within
could
that
still-
calorie deficit.
You could still eat whatever you wanted, but it just had
No,
to be
they never said that.
under...
They never said
Oh,
that.
they never said that.
Yeah. So, then when I started doing a bit of research for today, it was like, well, we know that calorie counting isn't a fad,
Yeah.
but is it the way that it's portrayed on social media the fad part, where there's plenty of coaches going, you can have ice cream before dinner, you know, you can eat shitloads of sugar if you want, right? But don't get me wrong,
agreed.
like,
Yeah,
so
100%.
that's the angle that I was going to question. And you know, not so much the calorie counting being a fad.
Right.
So I would go a different direction with the question.
Okay, let's take it.
No, that makes sense. So the way that I see calorie counting, it is a tool. Before calorie counting was a big thing, people still managed to lose weight. Like it's not revolutionary. It is just how people have lost weight in the past without realizing. So we calorie count to make sure that we are in a calorie deficit. Most diets work using the calorie deficit, like science-based. You need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. The angle now that most people are going at, and I think this is what you were addressing, is that people say, oh, you can eat whatever you want and still lose weight. Technically, true. If you only had one Big Mac a day, you would be in a calorie deficit and you would lose weight. However, it's not sustainable and it's not healthy. So yes, you can eat what you want and still lose weight, but you're making it harder for yourself. So it's like going to run a marathon without trainers. Like why would you choose to not use the trainers when it's there as a tool for you to use? Like it is, if you want to get from A to B, it's a straight line. That's going to be the fastest way to do it. There are other ways, there are other tools you can use, and calorie counting is not for everyone. I do always premise with the people that I coach if they've ever had eating disorders in the past, because this can be really triggering, because it can get really obsessive. So I would always double check with that, and if you do get obsessed with things and you do have quite an addictive personality, it can be quite risky with this approach. I became really obsessed at one point, and I wouldn't eat like anything without tracking it in my app, which sounds absolutely ridiculous. So that's the only downside to it. But
great point. That
so I would always double check with my clients first. But for the majority of people, which is who we're addressing in this podcast today, it is a fantastic tool and it works.
And I think that's where we get caught, right? It's a tool.
Yeah,
right?
It's a tool like anything else.
And, you know, I mentioned before we started today, I went down the rabbit hole looking at this, right? And obviously being the rogue treatment, we want to put a little bit of pressure on the whole notion of calorie counting. Not because I don't believe in it, not because I don't think it works. It's got nothing to do with that. We know that it's an effective tool. Yeah. Right. But for me, it's like, well, if this is the one way to lose weight, or if this is the only tool to lose weight, why, right? And that's when, like, that's why I said maybe we change the tact of the question, because it's been established a long time. We know that it works, but like the issue I have is, you know, if you're eating one Big Mac a day and you're under your calorie deficit, what impact's that having on the biochemistry of your body? Like, if you are eating ice cream before you go to bed, what impact is that sugar having on your body before you're going to bed? That's the thing that I don't necessarily agree with calorie counting, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying not to do it. Like, no one's going to be perfect and eat, you know, perfect diet all day, every day. I'm not saying that. Definitely have the ice cream, definitely have the Big Mac, you know, if that's what you want to do. But I just think that currently on social media, there is a wrong notion to what we should be eating. Like, Big Macs, we know, high density calories, zero nutritional value.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with ice cream.
Not zero, but yeah.
A little bit of lettuce in there.
There's a bit of lettuce in there.
Yes.
You know, we don't know where the meat's
the
from,
protein,
but it's
yeah.
Sure, it's grass-fed,
But it's
don't
got
worry.
protein, right? But like that's the thing I think is wrong, right?
Yes.
And that's, you know, you go on social media, and anyone who does what you do, right, is you know, trying to sell health and fitness online.
Yeah.
It's attractive to say, I can help you lose weight, but you can still eat a Big Mac.
Yeah, 100%. And that's definitely the sales point of it. That's the business side, where people are like, how do I get the attention of all these people? But it is possible to lose weight and have sandwiches. It's like other things like bread. People are scared of bread. And to prove, I think people just go a little bit more extreme on Instagram, but that's just to grab your attention, because everyone knows you attention is horrendous. Like, and people just swipe. Apparently you've got like half a second or something ridiculous before someone swipes. So it's like, how do you grab that first bit of attention? So understandable that it has become a bit more of a hype with like saying that you can eat what you want. Technically yes and no. So as I said before, you're making it harder for yourself. So what I meant by that was, if you aren't having enough protein, you're not having enough fiber, vegetables, carbohydrates, especially if you are training every day, you are not going to be repairing your muscles with the protein. You're not going to be restoring your glucose, your glycogen stores in your muscles. That's where your energy comes from when you do hard training sessions. So really important that we do replenish all of those. And if you are just having crap at the end of the day, like, you're just making it harder for yourself. And you're making it harder to exercise, to do your workouts, to live life and be your best self, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you said about the ice cream before bed, yes, the sugar might start affecting your sleep, but I love having ice cream before bed.
No, but you said before dinner too.
Oh, before
You
dinner.
said,
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
dinner, before bed, like,
yeah, just whenever.
Again,
but
it's
yeah.
not so much the timing. Like, again, like, we've all been there. Like, no one can say, even the healthiest people, athletes in the world, you know.
I have an ice cream a day. Not a day.
A
week.
Have an ice cream a day?
I go to Messina once a week, and it's my treat on a Friday, and I have a double scoop ice cream.
Yeah, but
and I love it.
Normal.
Yeah,
and
nice.
it's a treat. But then again, language. Why should ice cream be a treat? And it's like, well, because it's full of a load of crap.
Yeah.
So it's good to limit those things. But then also, I eat stuff like that all the time, and I don't want to promote that I only eat grass-fed beef, vegetables, fruit. The only time. No, but like all the time. Like I eat out with friends, and I'll eat what I want from the menu, and all of that sort of stuff.
Is that when you're talking about like it almost becomes unhealthy if you're so obsessive with it, and that's why you have to
100%.
screen your clients. Like,
so unhealthy.
Yeah.
Because you'll stop yourself going out.
Because it's like then they're not going to get the social aspect.
Yeah.
If they're like, I'm not going to go because they're going for a pizza night.
Yep.
I'm not going there, even though I could starve myself all day and then just have like the same amount of calories and just match it with pizza for that night. But I'm not going to go because it's a social, you know. I mean, sorry, because it's a
because you can't track your calories.
Yeah.
It has
or drinking.
stopped. Oh, drinking. Yeah, there's a lot of calories in drinking.
Yeah. But if you fast for like 3 days before and start drinking, that's fine, right?
No, you shouldn't do that. It's terrible for your system.
A couple of drinks you've had, you're on the floor.
But coming back to that though, like when you're talking about, the nutritional value of food. You're talking about glycogen stores and protein.
Mm-hmm.
My other big concern with the fad side that's on social media at the moment is a lot of these people don't have the nutritional background that you have.
No.
A lot of these people haven't done, a course or some training on it, right? And what I mean by that, validated quality courses. Like you can go online and anyone can give you a course these days, right? But I'm talking about the angle that you're talking about, where you're understanding the biochemistry of the body and what that does with training and exercise, and then the energy source that then can fall under a tool of calories. That is probably the scary part as well, right? And they're who you're going up against as a business, right?
Yeah.
What's your kind of take on that?
Yeah, when I do see other so-called influencers promoting what they eat, it's good most of the time because they are showing mostly healthy food. But then on the other side, when you can look into them and like, if they've got no qualifications, it's also a bit like, are they not worried that someone's going to like find them out or anything? And it's a bit like, it's hard because I don't want to just promote the fact that, yes, I've got all my qualifications. Like, no one wants to hear that. They want to hear the solution works. Like, no one has ever, like, no client has ever asked me to see my qualifications. Like, and they won't, because as long as I can prove, as long as I can get them their results that they want, they don't care at the end of the day. It's until maybe something goes wrong or then things start to get unhealthy. That's when they would then probably reach out and be like, yo, what's all this about? But like, that would never happen if you've got your qualifications, because you work with them. You work, so it doesn't always work straight away, but then you work out why it's not working. Oh, actually, you've been having 6 tablespoons of sugar in your tea 3 days a week, like what you're doing like multiple times during the day, and it's like, oh well, that's an extra 300 calories that's taking you out of your deficit. So it does always come back to the calorie deficit. Any diet that you take is just a fluffy version of the calorie deficit. So it does work. Again, calorie counting is just the tool.
Sorry.
No, it's interesting. If we dive into some of your like experiences with your clients now, like maybe if we use a calorie deficit as an example, what sort of like was it a big change? You say, I assume that's probably someone that wants to lose weight, right? Is that just like, is that a big change from their diet that we're doing before, and then you're like, right, okay, from week 1 we're into this calorie deficit? Like, what does it work like that, or do you like sort of transition in? How does that go? So
it depends on the client. So if someone has never calorie counted before, we always have an onboarding call and find out what they eat. So the first week or 2 would be, I need you to track everything that you're eating, so I can sort of see why you might not be losing weight, why,
right?
Like, or if they don't know what they're eating, or like, so I teach them how to track first.
How do they, or like on an app or something?
Yeah, I always use MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
Just track everything. Everything needs weighing out. It is very tedious
everything
at first.
Needs weighing out.
Yeah. People's portion perception completely different.
Cup.
Like, cereal, for example, 30 grams. No one's pouring 30 grams into a bowl. You're having at least 100 grams in there. Otherwise, it's like this pathetic amount. Honestly, if you actually portioned out things that it says on a packet, it's such a small portion. So
my wife and I have a packet of pasta for dinner. It serves 5 or 6 or something.
You have the whole packet?
Virtually, no. Virtually.
Seems a little bit extreme.
Yeah, okay.
Are you training for a marathon on a daily basis?
Just hungry. No, that's exaggerated. It's exaggerated, but you're right. Like, exactly sometimes you get a meal that's like, there's 4 portions in here, and you're like, are you kidding?
Yeah. And you'll eat most of it, or if not all of it.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
So would always track and make sure I knew what they were eating first anyway, and then from that, depending on how bad it is, adjust what they're eating. So maybe they have a full fat Coke. Can we change that to a Coke Zero? So we're not just eliminating all bad things. It's just, what are the easiest, most simple changes that we can make so they can still enjoy their life. It's not hard. I don't want them to feel like they're on a diet, because that's when it's not sustainable. My approach is more, this is more of a lifestyle. So I'll let you go out and have a donut, but I want you to enjoy that donut, and I want you to limit and then choose your indulgences as well. So if you choose to have the donut today and someone offers you an ice cream tomorrow, you say no to the ice cream. You had a donut today. So it's all about choosing your indulgences. And a great way that I like to use, or a great rule for this, is if it's not a fuck yes, it's a no. So like, if someone offers you a piece of cake and it's your favourite cake in the world, fuck yeah, you're going to eat it and you're going to enjoy it. And you're going to be like, oh my God, yeah, this is the best cake ever. If it's like, oh, yeah, I wouldn't have chosen that, but yeah, sure. No, don't have it, because you're not going to enjoy it. Like, what's the point? And then you'll feel guilty and you've ruined it either way. So that's why I always say enjoy it, especially if you've chosen that. You've made that choice to eat that cake. So make sure you enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes it more of a lifestyle as opposed to a diet, because you can include these foods. And I guess that's where it comes back to, is calorie counting a thing or fad or whatever? Like, yes, you can eat what you want, but I want you to limit it to the things that you enjoy and really enjoy it when you do choose to have them, because that's a choice that you've decided to make.
So that person that is on a calorie deficit, right? So they've converted to calorie deficit, they're working with you.
Yeah.
How do they go? Like, how long do you work that out to? Is it just obviously depending on their goals? And then what happens after? I'm so intrigued what happens after. Is it like, I've reached this milestone? You're talking about like changing it into like a lifestyle habit sort of thing. Do you slowly like go back to like a maintenance calorie counting? Or because how often we hear it's like, I'm doing 6 weeks, I'm only going to have this many calories every day, and that's a big change to what I've been doing before. I'm going to struggle for 6 weeks, and then after that I'm going to lose weight, and then after that I'm just going to like enjoy myself again, and then they put the weight back on, and then it's just like a cycle again. You know what I mean? How does that happen towards that journey at the end?
Well, that's what I hear for like a fad diet.
Yeah.
A fad diet is, I'm gonna do this for 4 weeks because I'm off on my holidays in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna lose as much weight as possible and then go back to normal.
Yeah.
My approach is more, let's just alter your normal so that you can just continue your life in a healthier way and potentially lose weight at the same time. When they reach their goal weight, or they're happy that they don't need coaching anymore, honestly, it's one of the best days when my clients message me saying, "Hi Lou, I'm really sorry, but I don't think I need coaching anymore. I'm going to go out into the big world on my own." And I'm like, yes. I'm like, oh my God, it's so good. I know it's not business friendly because I'm losing a client, but that's someone's life that I've now impacted for the rest of their life, and they can go on and lead a healthier life without a coach, without any more fad diets, without meal plans, without all that other crap that we see all over the internet. They've learned how to do it themselves.
Been educated, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's the approach that I have. So when you say when they've done their 6 weeks in a deficit, yes, they've reached their goal weight then, but then it depends on their goals. So if they want to stick there, that's fine. We build them back up to a maintenance. But then again, you don't need to calorie count for the rest of your life. It's just a tool to understand portion sizes. I haven't calorie counted in about 2 years. And I can gauge, looking at certain meals, what I'm eating, what I'm putting in my body. So it's more about what you're eating as well as the calories and the macros. So as long as you're getting enough protein in, I always focus on that, and carbohydrates as well if you are running as well, or doing any other form of intense exercise. But yeah, it's more to do with that healthy lifestyle. So there isn't an end. It's what you choose to learn while you're being coached, and what you choose to take away and then take into your full life and pass on, I guess.
I think there's like so many tips there, right? And what I'm getting from this is that it then becomes a lifestyle choice.
Yes, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think, that's probably the difference. When you're maybe not eating healthily, you're not exercising, by counting calories, it helps induce a lifestyle choice.
Yes.
Or a lifestyle change, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the
like
biggest
almost
benefit.
taking back control.
Yeah.
I get a lot of people being like, I just can't control myself in an evening. Like I just eat chocolate and ice cream and stuff. It's taking back that control of your own body. And that's also why it can become obsessive.
Yeah.
because if you're like, oh my God, I haven't tracked, like I can't do it. That's where it becomes obsessive. But again, it is taking back that control as to what you were saying. Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
No, you're right. You're right. That's exactly what I was going to ask, right? Because then, when again, like, if we're going to go down the rogue treatment path of this, right? And like I said, I did go down the rabbit hole, like trying to find ways in which we could challenge this notion, right? Again, we've said this before. It's not about whether we believe calorie counting is right or wrong. It's not about whether it's the best. You got to do what's the right thing is for you. But when I started to kind of look at different ways in which, even myself, when I've done calorie counting, it was like you guys mentioned before, it's like, cool, how does this app know that it's exactly a cup? How do we know that, the energy density of different types of bread are exactly as they're described, right? And again, that's just my personality. I analyze all of it, right? But that doesn't mean that it's bad. But then again, when I went down that rabbit hole, it was like, well, there's a lot of evidence, a lot of studies saying, hey, like calorie counting really isn't a way to look at the body in the way that it in the way that we thermogenically process food, right? So I'll bring this up. So this was from University of Sydney. So it's time to bust the calories in, calories out weight loss myth, right? So not all calories are created or consumed equally. It's not simple. The calories in, calories out formula is not so simple. Our bodies don't consume every calorie the same way.
Correct.
What's shown in your calorie counter is not what's actually absorbed into your body. And then over time, our bodies disrupt the formula. The biggest failing of the calories in, calories out formula is it ignores that the body adjusts its control system when calorie intake is reduced. So while the formula can support people achieving weight loss initially, the reduction in energy intake is counteracted by mechanisms that ensure lost weight is regained. So again, like this is the hard part. You're
like, oh fuck,
head off. No, but
this
again,
why did I accept this pod?
Yeah, it's like shit. I should have said no.
No.
Resignation tomorrow. No. But like, so this is the part. Like when I said, when I went down the rabbit hole with this, is like, again, I don't want to discourage people from doing this because it clearly is a tool that works, right? But we want to push back on it because there's people out there that will say, well, instead of counting calories, how about it's the density of the nutritional food that we're eating.
Yes.
Right? I've watched lots of podcasts. I've read a lot of stuff where they'll say, if you do go back to not eating processed foods, taking out highly treated foods, vegetables and that kind of thing. You talked about grass-fed meats, right? Our body actually our body's chemistry can actually work out how to process grass-fed meats, natural foods a lot easier, right?
Yes.
And our body will actually tell us when we're full, as opposed to having a calorie count, and that people can still lose weight that way, right? So again, I don't want to go off the beaten track, but when I went down the rabbit hole, it's like, okay, cool. What's the opposing view to this, right? If the opposing view is that we don't actually know the density, we know that our body doesn't actually energetically work it out like that. How do we kind of, utilize this the best way?
Okay. So I think I've got 2 or 3 points on this.
Take your time.
No, it's okay.
That.
No, I know that was about 4 different questions in one.
Yeah, sorry.
No, firstly, calories are not technically made equal. That is correct. So for example, if you had a handful of peanuts and then you had peanut butter, your body is going to use more calories to process the peanuts. So you will absorb less calories from the whole peanuts than you will the peanut butter. You will use pretty much all the not nutrients, but like calories in the peanut butter. Your body will absorb, peanuts use less. So, and that's down to the fiber content as well. So whenever you process food, you strip the fiber out of it. That's why a lot of juices that you have, you think, oh yeah, that's really healthy. That's got 5 different fruits in it. But you've stripped all the fiber out of it. So that's why you could eat all those 5 fruits and be so much fuller than eating the juice of those 5 fruits.
And it's the same amount.
Exactly the same. And it could be exactly the same amount. You'll be so much fuller from eating the full fruits.
That's why milkshakes are better. Right?
Sure. You go. To be fair, I'd rather have a milkshake because at least you've got your protein in it. There you go. At least there's high protein
with
in
real
that.
peanuts in there or something.
Yeah,
Peanut butter.
with full whole nuts. So that's
Sounds shit.
what I wanted to say about the calories are not made equal.
Right.
And then onto the stripping out processed foods. I agree. I would do the 80-20 diet. This is what I promote for those people who don't want a calorie count. So you have 80% of the time, just try and eat whole foods. So the things that don't have packaging on are the things you should be having. Like if it's got to sell you something on the packaging and say high protein, chances are it's got other stuff in there that you don't want in your body. So there's other chemicals. Another great way to look at this is look at the ingredients on the back of it. If there's stuff on there that you can't even read, do you want to be putting that in your body? Yes or no? And then 20% of the time, yes, we can have those things that we don't know how to read. And because they're enjoyable, that's where life comes back into it. So I guess I do, and I try and stick to the 80-20 rule myself. So you're looking at all your fruits, all your vegetables, beans, legumes, all your meats, chicken, fish, literally all of that stuff. The stuff that we know deep down is healthy. It's the stuff that isn't advertised because it doesn't need advertising because we know that we should be eating it.
But then again though, like say you're watching a movie on the weekend and you want to have a pack of chips and you look at the back of it and it's got all these ingredients in there, right?
Wait,
and
when you said chips, do you mean hot?
Yeah,
you mean
here
hot
we go.
chips?
Crisps.
Oh, crisps. Sorry.
Yorkshire.
Okay. Sorry, I just wanted
Here
to
we
double
go.
check. Just double checking.
Is the Yorkshire pudding actually from Yorkshire, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Oh, it is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then this morning she was like, I was riding my bike and the lorry wished past.
Lorry?
Oh my God, I nearly died this morning, guys. I'm full on accepted death. I'm not joking.
Really?
I'm having such a great
lorry?
day. Yeah.
The lorry.
The lorry was really long and it nearly sucked me under. You
My
get dragged
God.
from,
But
cyclists,
for a second there, I had to work out lorry.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
what do you call it?
Yeah, not that you almost died. It was just thinking,
I know,
what the fuck?
I was listening to that part
What
of the
the
story.
fuck's a
like,
lorry?
why
That's
did
the
you-
part of the story that I was listening to.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
wondering why you
yeah.
wrote that. I was like, what are you about?
But then for a second there, I
Wait,
was
so
like,
what-
wait, are we talking about a van? Are we talking about a ute? Are we talking about
No,
a
it's
truck?
like a truck,
And then
isn't
she goes, I got sucked in. I'm like, it has to be a truck.
Wait, so that's...
Fucking
you don't
cyclists, I swear.
What, even
honestly.
like the really long ones?
Yeah,
It's
truck.
called a
truck.
semi-trailer.
Semi-truck. Well, it had 2 carriages.
It had about 4. It was extra long.
What do you mean? It's a road train or something? Where were you?
Cycling to Pagewood in the middle of nowhere.
Definitely wasn't road.
So
It was a lorry,
Anyway.
anyways.
It was a lorry. Okay, anyway.
It was a lorry.
But
we went off track. But
Sorry.
I just want to... You want to ask a
no, I was
question?
just going to go back to looking at the back of the pack. You're saying, do you really want to put, are people questioning, do I really want to put that in my body? But then are they really thinking that when they just want to enjoy spending time with their kids, watching a movie or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Are we diving too much into it, or is that where you're saying the 20% is
20%, yeah. I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the issue with... I don't know why. I don't like crisps that much because I don't know what I've got against them. I will eat them if there's dip. I don't like chips on the road.
Yeah. It's
You need
too
the
dry.
dip. It's too dry otherwise.
Yeah. What dip?
Oh, any
Any
dip.
Fair enough.
Like a bit of guac, salsa.
Ooh.
Yeah, nice.
Love all that. Hummus.
Yeah.
Oh, I love a hummus.
Ah.
Yeah.
But again, that's just blitz chickpeas. Just eat the chickpeas. You'll be fuller.
While we're on the processed food thing,
Yeah.
right, James, I was listening to the Exercise Engineer podcast, and I also
Ooh.
Plug it. That's mine.
absolutely,
didn't I say that at the
and I'll
start?
accept
You
the
did.
Yeah.
You did.
I'll accept the invite to come on. I know you sent me that.
You want good quality people to interview, right?
do.
Okay, so don't send him the invite.
What do you mean? No, we've got a commonality here. I mean, I've stopped it, but Lou has overnight oats every morning. Is that true? Are you still doing that?
I don't anymore. I did for
Is
4
that after
years
you've
in
been speaking to
London.
him?
Why?
It's because it doesn't fit in my backpack anymore on my bike.
Okay.
I would still have that every day
You were
though.
saying I enjoy it. I look
love
forward
it.
to it.
Yeah.
After training, I'm like,
I
this is
did.
me. But I've stopped it
I love it.
because
I had it every
That's a different
morning for
podcast.
4 years.
That's a different podcast, but it's going to tie into what I'm going to ask a question right
Yes.
now, which is also ties into the 80-20 that you're
Yep.
talking about, right? So things like overnight oats, things like processed foods, right? Especially like when you said you look at the packet and you can't.
Hang on, are you saying overnight oats is a processed food?
Yeah, absolutely.
How?
it is. Processed. It's
How is it
oats.
processed?
Have you ever looked on the back and it said 100% oats?
Oh, it's in the 90s though.
I just threw that out there.
But like I said, that's a
Something.
separate podcast because
Anyway.
of the impact that the oats has on the gut microbiome. But we won't go
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
Um, but going back to the chemicals on the back of a packet,
Yes.
right? I haven't searched it here, but I want to ask, at what point did calorie counting become a thing to lose weight because of the impact of all the shit that we're ingesting that maybe causes us to increase weight?
Yeah.
Right, which we know it does, yeah. And then the only way to continue eating the shit and reduce weight is to go into a calorie deficit,
Correct.
as opposed to when we ate the healthy stuff.
Yep.
We, you look at photos of people in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
They didn't look obese
No,
like the
correct.
population does today, right?
Yeah.
So there's that correlation between when we started introducing processed foods and all the chemicals and shit that went into it,
Yeah.
that our weight increased
100%.
across the world.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
So at what point is, and I literally don't even know what I'm about to ask, right? But at what point is calorie
God, this
counting
will be
a way to counteract the shit that we're putting in our body,
Yeah.
as opposed to, hey, just eat as much high density quality
Yeah.
food,
Yeah.
because we also know you could eat, so much protein, so much vegetables,
Yeah.
and not put on the weight.
Agreed.
So then at what point is it like we're just calorie counting just to go into calorie deficit to counteract all the shit
So
that
we
we
can still eat all the crap.
eat? Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I do agree, but disagree.
Great
I know
question,
it's a good question. Very long question.
Did
but
you
it's
say
good.
agree?
Both?
Okay.
Good.
I agree, because I do say to my clients, like, you don't have to track vegetables and things like that. You can't no one ever got fat from eating too many vegetables. Let's be honest.
Mhm.
Like, it is all the processed foods that we eat, and it's all the additives in the processed foods that make us want more. They literally put things in the food to make you crave the food more.
Yeah.
So you will
And
just,
never
and that's
hungry.
why, and
I mean,
you
always
never end
hungry.
up
You just
always
feel- yeah.
hungry, or like
Yeah.
it doesn't fill that void because
I
it's
don't know
just
how true this is, but I watched, again, doing research for this, I watched something on Instagram, so we can't verify this.
Here we go. Instagram
Believe
doctor this
everything.
guy.
No.
You
I'm,
read online.
I'm prefacing that
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
from Instagram as opposed to the studies that I pulled up.
yeah.
Right, but they were saying that, what was it, like in the mid 1900s when they started to reduce the ability to market tobacco, and obviously we started to realize that cigarettes were bad for us. The tobacco industry went and bought all the food industries, like the quick foods,
Okay.
and they've just been putting all their research dollars into exactly what you're saying. How do we make food more, attractive to eat? How do we make it that
Yeah.
we want to
Yeah.
crave it and addict it more?
Yeah.
And that the tobacco companies own these processed food companies. I do know of one because they did talk about Kraft. Kraft, like peanut
Yeah,
butter,
yeah, yeah,
that is owned by a tobacco company. That's the only one that they talked about in this.
Interesting.
And then
Didn't
I
know
checked that to verify
yeah.
that, and it was bought. I don't know if it still is, but it was bought when it was sold
That's so
to
interesting.
a tobacco company. So
There
that
you go.
100% is true. Now, the rest of the industry, I don't fucking know. But when I watched that, I was like, holy shit, that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
what was the part that made the tobacco industry huge was it was addictive.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you're not allowed to advertise anymore, your sales are declining. It makes sense that no one's going to tell you not to eat food, right? No one can
Yeah.
stop you from eating food. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
is that part of that where and I just looked up when did calorie counting start? It was in the 1820s. So it can't be coincidental. It's got nothing to do with, hey, we started eating shit and we used calorie counting as a way to reduce it, right? But at what
The
point?
1820s.
That's what it says.
I was going to say
man.
when we had the right technology to be able to do it.
Look, this is a
It's a
Cambridge
what?
University press. Let me read this. I don't know.
But I guess as more of a accessible, like now.
Yeah.
the
Like my
origins of
nana,
it.
when she was younger, didn't used to calorie count. But
No.
she'd say, oh, I'm watching my weight. Like they always, like,
yeah, for sure.
that's the way that they would, but they wouldn't.
Yeah.
To the level of
They
It
wouldn't-
where it
became
is
more
now.
popular after World War One.
Yeah.
But it did say the origins of it date back to the 1820s for weight loss, but it became popular after World War One. How that's happened, there's not much more information here.
That's like
So
just
let's
train
just
more,
say
eat
early.
less.
Yeah, it probably would have been something
Yeah.
like that. It wouldn't
What,
have
and
been
then
scientific.
that's how long it's been on packets of how many calories.
No.
like,
The origins of the idea of a calorie being burnt.
Right, not the
Yeah.
actual calorie counting as a
Correct.
tool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the measure of a calorie probably was in the 1820s.
Yes.
But calorie counting as a tool became popular after World War One.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
that's interesting.
Very interesting.
Sorry, we went off topic, but
Again,
at
that's
what
okay.
point? Yeah, so like I think it's very interesting to maybe like what your thoughts are in more detail around the whole fact that, you know, if we were to eat better foods, do we need to calorie count?
Again, depends on the goal.
Mm.
Like for some people, yes, because portion control is such a huge factor, and it's
But
portion
You
sizes.
said you can have as many vegetables as you want.
Yeah, it's all the other stuff as well, though.
So, but are you saying like, forget about the calorie counting, just eat as many vegetables as you want when you're hungry, and that's it?
I
Anything
was
from the
trying
ground.
to find a study. I have read this somewhere before. I couldn't find it, right? But there was a study around eating high density proteins and certain fruits and vegetables. Not all fruits and vegetables, because again, like things like oats and things like that have a negative impact on our gut microbiome. So it was a very small list of foods, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they did a control group of it being calorie measured. So
Yeah.
you could eat, you know, meats, cheese, you know, all
Oh,
fruit,
so I was going to
vegetables.
ask, are you allowed to eat technically
Dairy.
processed? Because you could class yogurt and cheese as processed, but
Yeah.
it's the highly processed food that we're
Highly
talking about.
processed.
Yeah.
So it stopped at yogurt and cheese. Right?
Oh, that was
so
literally
yeah, that was the
Yeah.
only processed
right.
things.
Okay.
Like, so no processed vegetables. You know, the meat was fresh meats.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
So the only processed parts would have been those. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
And so they did three. I really want to find this study, but they did three groups. So they did a group where it was controlled by calorie counting.
Yeah.
They did a group that was like eat as much as you want until you're full.
Yeah.
And then there was a group that I can't remember exactly the third group, but it was
Control
like
group.
yeah,
Carry
there was
on
a
eating what you
control
usually
group. Yeah, maybe
So
eat what
usually.
normal stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a control group.
Ice
Yeah.
cream before bed. Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, but it didn't. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what they ate.
Yeah.
Right, but there was a
Yeah.
control group.
Yeah.
The calorie counting group did lose weight.
Yeah.
Right? They did, you know, meet their goals in terms of health and fitness, but they weren't able to sustain it in a follow-up, and they weren't able to, and their like body fat percent, their muscle percentages, and there's a few other like their blood measures weren't very good.
Yep.
Right. The control group didn't put on any weight. I remember that, but again, like their blood work was bad, and their muscle densities weren't great.
Yeah.
The group that ate as much as they want, so long as they stuck to this group of foods, lost the most weight, had the best blood work, and had the best muscle density.
Yeah.
Again, that's one study. I wish I could find it and see where it was, and I will. Maybe we can
You
put
can
it in the
show
notes
notes.
after. Yeah, but again, that comes down to cool. The calorie counting, they lost the weight. They reached their health and fitness goals.
Yeah.
They did eat the foods that were specific. You could only eat from that list of foods.
Yeah.
But they kept it under a calorie deficit.
Yeah.
That then didn't necessarily work after. Now, again, we're not talking about processed foods. We're not talking about so it's not the best study to talk about.
Yeah.
But
Oh wait, so the calorie deficit study ate the same foods as the people eating as much as they want.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's probably down to, well, it depends how big the calorie deficit was that they were given.
That's true.
I never give my clients 500 calorie deficit. It's too much, especially when you're used to eating probably in a surplus without realizing. So I always give between 200 or 300, depending on their goals.
200 or 300 less than
their maintenance. Yes. Right. So again, that is all just estimated. That is from a calculator. It's all estimations, but again, it's just a tool.
Yeah.
So that would be the likelihood is they've put themselves in a 500 calorie deficit, which is what mostly MyFitnessPal or something would give you. If you say you want to lose fat quite quickly, it will give you a 500 calorie deficit, and that comes from 1 pound of fat being 3,500 calories. So divide that over 7 days, 500 calories per day in a deficit. You're 3,500 calories in a deficit over the week, meaning you would lose 1 pound of fat every week.
Right.
That's sort of that's technically how it works. So yes, and only a pound of fat, that seems really small, but when you think about it, a pound of fat is actually really chunky. Have you seen the videos on Instagram where the pound of fat is literally this big, and it's like it's a good amount. And people are like, oh, I can shit that out in the morning. It's like, yeah, you can, but like, it's more fat than you think it is over that space. So if you're continuing to exercise and you are in that big of a deficit, which I think is ridiculous, like 500 calories a day is a lot in a deficit.
It's got to be so unhealthy.
It's a lot because, your body will start to then use its muscle.
Yeah.
As you said, like people lost their muscle. I'm not sure about the bloods. I haven't looked into any of that side of it personally. But definitely muscle mass is a big thing. And that's why I never put my clients in 500 unless they have an excess, like a ridiculous amount of body fat to lose.
If they stayed in that deficit of 500 but had very high protein, have you tried that and see what would happen? Because realistically, your body's going to draw on muscle if it doesn't have the fuel source and energy.
Yeah.
Right?
It comes down to if you're strength training. If you're not using the muscle, you'll lose it. Doesn't matter what you're eating. Like you need to be using the muscle, otherwise you will lose it. Like your body is like, we're clearly not using this energy store that we've got here. Let's take it.
Yeah.
So yes, you can still maintain muscle mass if you are in quite a large deficit, but it's so difficult to build muscle if you're in a deficit, because obviously your body needs extra energy to then repair the muscles properly and build the muscle.
Which and this is for a completely another podcast, but what is happening with the whole like Ozempic?
It's so interesting.
Craze. Like, they're literally starving their bodies of nutrients.
Yeah.
And again, not because they put you just don't eat, and then your body's stripping the muscles and stripping.
It will take it from
bone
wherever.
And wherever.
And I've seen people lose crazy weight with very short period of time. But then you could argue then that's then set them up to be healthier after that.
Well, that's the thing. Right?
Most of the time, if someone's lost, like when people are like, I lost 7 pounds in 7 days. A lot of that is water weight because you've cut out mainly carbs because people are scared of carbs. They've been demonized. So the minute you strip all of that out, you are losing all the carb stores you've got, all your glycogen, and all the water that's attached to those glycogen stores. So for every, I don't know the exact science, but for all your glycogen stores in your muscle, you get 2 compounds of water attached to each carb. So you strip out the carbs, you're stripping out all that water weight as well, which is why it's like, oh my God, I lost 7 pounds in the first 7 days. This is sick.
Yeah.
And then people are complaining that they're plateauing. It's like, well, no, you've already stripped all the water weight out. Now you're actually losing the fat, and this is where the real work starts.
Yeah. That's interesting. But I think that comes back down to we probably don't properly understand the biochemistry of our body.
100%.
Right? And every single person is going to be slightly different. And again, you make fun of when I say don't eat the oats, right? But that just purely comes down to like, again, when I've gone and researched these things, what impact do things like oats have on the biochemistry of the body? It's not that they're bad for you. Eat them. Like, they're not going to kill you. But, when you were talking about how, you were getting sore stomach and, all those other things that were coming from it, right? That was something you're eating. It may not have been the oats, but something you're eating is affecting the biochemistry.
There's also the lactose.
The lactose, yeah. But, go oats again and see what happens.
I have
but
the
there
old
are
oats.
studies that show that oats actually impact lactose tolerance.
Yeah.
So again, we're just quoting random studies, but everyone's biochemistry is going to be slightly different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to see those oat studies, please. Not right now.
Oh,
no, just
that's
send me
another
them.
pod.
Because I love oats.
We'll come talk about that
the
on your
only
pod.
time I would say to not have oats is before I work out. Have it after with protein. Fantastic. Huh?
Because it bloats you?
No, it's just more you want something a bit more simple carbs. So you want something that's going to digest quickly, break down quickly, so you can use the energy straight away instead of oats might make you feel
snake or something.
Sure, whatever you want to eat.
A processed snake or
oh, you mean like the jelly snake?
Like jelly snake.
Well,
what did you guys think I was talking about?
I thought you meant an actual snake. I was like, what?
Yeah, you're like, well, Australia.
Where
I was
you
like,
going?
sure, don't eat that.
On that, I think you read it out before, right? There's also like a, I don't know what you might have a term for it, Lou, but whereas like everyone has like a certain baseline or like a weight that sort of they will always sort of somewhat. You're challenging all the time. With calorie counting, is it safe to be challenging that as much? Because are we always just going to then retreat back to that sort of somewhat baseline? Because I know personally, I could eat all day and like I never put on any weight, right? And then there's other people that look at...
Jesus.
I'd prefer the opposite, right? I'm always hungry. But then there's people that you like look at food and put it on sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like where that baseline is it safe to be like playing around with that or is it better just to be eating all the natural foods from the ground and then just seeing where we lay?
You can change your baseline. So the only thing you can't change is the number of fat store pockets that you have. So once you've been potentially obese, your body creates more fat stores that you then fill. You can't then get rid of the fat stores. You can empty them, but you will still always have the same number. So it becomes harder once you've lost that weight to then, like it's easier for someone who was previously overweight to put the weight back on. Yeah. Because they already have the fat stores to fill. Like your body's been like, oh, we've got empty fat stores here, we need to fill them. Mm-hmm. So from that point of view, yes, you do have that natural line of where you sit, but you can change it.
Okay, safely. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Does metabolism have any impact on that? Is that similar or is that different?
Similar to that, yes. So you can change your metabolism, yes, but the baseline of your metabolism is your height, your weight, your age. So obviously, the older you get, the slower your metabolism does slow down with age. It's just what your body uses on a daily basis, pretty much. Yeah. And this is affected by your muscle mass, your activity levels. Yeah. So I call like your maintenance, excluding activity levels, your coma calories. This is the amount of energy your body would be burning if you were in a coma. So still alive, but your body is doing all the processes that it's got to do to stay alive. Mine's about 1,300 calories. It's ridiculous.
How did you work that out?
It's just all the calculators.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And
sorry, go on.
Like all the watches, like they do, it will estimate it for you. But mine's probably more now because I've put on slightly bit of weight. I've got more muscle now. Muscle uses more energy than fat does on the body. So the more muscle you've got, you can technically increase your metabolism. It's very small though. It's not as, oh my God, yeah, if you build all this muscle, you'll be able to eat 5,000 calories a day. It's not that extreme, but every little helps. Mm-hmm. So you can change your metabolism for sure. And you can change that baseline of your weight, yeah.
So Is calorie counting a fad?
No, it's a tool.
To summarize, it's all a fad.
Yeah, all right, my work they didn't get through to you.
No, look, I think there's I could talk about this for ages, right?
I've talked about it for years.
Yeah,
I feel very passionate about it.
clearly,
I could see in your eyes.
no, it's good. It's good, but I think that's like in my head. And I'm not saying this is right. In my head, I just don't know if we properly understand our bodies enough yet. But we now have some tools that work, right? And we have some tools that maybe not are 100% perfect either, right? Especially when we bring in processed foods and things like that. But I think at the end of the day, like, if you really like, I know that there's some stuff in the US where you can work out through DNA tests and blood tests exactly the kind of things that are going to have an impact on your body to put on weight or to slow your metabolism and things like that. But until we really perfect that, and the whole biohacking side of it, we probably still don't really understand it enough. There's some really good tools out there. There's some really good stuff coming out. But until we really get down into the biohacking and understand the chemistry and everything of our body, like, we're not going to know whether calorie counting is good or bad for us either. I don't know.
I think at the end of the day, just noting down what you're actually eating makes you aware of what you're eating, if that makes sense.
The awareness and the education part's huge,
some people don't even realise that they're snacking on stuff. So the whole premise of the calorie counting, it might be the calorie counting that's working, but it's also making them aware that, if I eat that, I've got to write it down. I just won't eat it. Like, seriously, that works as well. Yeah. I've told some of my clients the accountability of it. So some of my clients...
Or just eat it and don't write it down.
Yeah.
Nobody will know.
Honestly, well, no, but then what's the point? What's the point?
No, but you will know if you don't lose weight. Right?
Yeah, of course.
Exactly.
So
that's the measure.
Your coach is going to be like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And then, like, the next step up from that is, right, I want you to set... Like, I had this one client who was really struggling about... She was like, I just can't not eat this bag of sweets on a night. I need it. Like,
a whole bag?
Whole bag of sweets. Like,
wow.
And she'd do so well during the day. And then I'd be like, right, you're clearly restricting too much during the day. Let's work the calories out there. But then I was like, right, every time you go to eat one, send me a picture of it. I want to see the bag of sweets open. Like, send me a picture. That whole week, she didn't have one. Because she didn't want to send me the picture. Yeah. And I believe her. You might be thinking, you're an idiot, Louise. She ate them.
No, but I definitely...
Because she was saying thank you so much.
Yeah. It becomes a habit, right?
Yeah. And then she's back out of the habit now of eating that thing every day.
Yeah.
Great tool.
Yeah,
definitely a great tool.
Just send me a pic, guys, Lou. At the exercise engineer.
Exercise engineer. So yeah, like, do you want to talk about how people can find you, or what kind of offering that you do have for this, I guess, for health and fitness?
So you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, podcasts, at the exercise engineer. It's, if in doubt, just Google it. I'm there. I'm also at Pagewood in The Change. I'm the studio manager there, so loving it there as well. So if you want to see me in person, if you're about in Sydney, come down to the studio. Put you through a right session. You'll leave smiling. So it's fine.
And am I getting a resignation tomorrow?
No.
Okay, good.
No, maybe. No, otherwise I wouldn't have plugged it just then. But yeah, I do one-to-one coaching. I do 6-week challenges. So whatever your budget is, I can account.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good.
Sensational.
One last thing to do.
Yes.
Oh,
sorry, I'm breaking.
You can't take your shoe off again.
Hold on. I've got. Right now, Lou, you're probably not across this, but at the end of every you're looking at this like, what the fuck?
You could have provided a brand new trainer.
I'm not sure which way to hold.
A used
I do
shoe.
think about that, actually. It's probably a bit dirty. At the end of every pod, our viewers ask us, a few things. We've got some challenges. We put them all into the hat, and we'd love you to...
Sorry, it's supposed to be a hat.
And then you forgot the hat, and it's just stayed as a shoe.
Anyways, would you like to do the honours?
I'd love
all right.
Do you really want to put your hand in his shoe? Oh, my computer again.
Okay, yeah, very strategic there. Just pulled out the top one.
Of course.
Yep. I thought you were going to get the one under here.
No. I saw Sinus release on Channel 7 Sunrise. Is that legit or a load of shit?
I like
And
the
that's
rhyming
I
there.
know, I love that. Tom from Ranwick.
Oh, all
So
right.
Oh,
that's-
thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. I've got no idea about this. We're gonna have to.
We're gonna have
No
to look
idea.
into this.
Yeah,
Sinus.
Interesting. Legit or a
Release.
load of shit?
Legit.
All right.
I love the
Poet and
rhyming.
he didn't even know it.
He's a poet and he didn't know it. Awesome.
Love it.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
You've got a sinus release technique there.
I honestly don't know,
James?
Like, just
Yeah.
do that.
I have no idea. That is something we're gonna have to look into, eh?
Awesome.
Try and find someone. Yeah.
Love it.
Cool.
All right. Thanks, Lou.
Cool. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, everyone.
It's been
Have
awesome.
a great day.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Dave.
Lou. Bye.
Bye.